take applications and have embraced applications because it becomes more convenient for them to actually utilize applications than web-based applications, mostly because the web applications don't necessarily fit onto the form factor required for tablets and smartphones. So suddenly, where there was this big drive a few years ago to make everything web-enabled, now suddenly the drive is to make everything an app, and that's where we are now.
And what is the difference, Andre? I mean, web-enabled versus an app. I would assume that I'd be able to use it on any one of my technologies, for example.
You will be able to use them on both technologies, but then web-enabled does not have much performance compared to an actual app that resides in your phone. So people are moving more from the websites to actually have apps that actually work whatever function you want, whether it's a game or it's a business app or something that works.
App development has become the new it's the thing to do in the world of computers and so on, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And it seems as though there are more mobile app developers and more tools to actually make mobile apps, because you find that there are web-based services that can actually help you create an app. So if you don't even have the knowledge of coding or programming, can actually use a particular web-based service to create an app. So everyone is into it now.
It's not hard to do. You're an app developer, I presume,
Yes,
amongst other things.
It is not hard to do. With the web-based services, they just give you the basic functionality of a normal app, where you can just view information, watch videos, and do certain functions. But if you really want a perfect app, you have to code it from scratch and make sure the functions work according to how you want it to work.
And it's a new creative platform, isn't it, Ronald? Because you used to have to take out paint and a template, and used to be able to have to create art that way, or for a designer cutting fabric and making sketches. And now all you need to do is know how to code and put your creativity into a completely different format.
Yes, that is true, but personally I can utilize the form factor of a smartphone or a tablet very easy to consume and use information, but I find it very difficult to actually create content on it because it's so small, and maybe I'm just old and my eyesight's going, but I need something bigger like a laptop or a bigger desktop computer when I'm actually creating content and actually creating the content. So I don't think the whole era of laptops and desktop computers is going to disappear totally, but definitely it's going to be a lot less required than it was before. But yes, the creation of content, I don't know how you feel, Andre, if you can actually create or develop your application, even though it's going to be utilized on a tablet or a smartphone, using a smartphone.
Yikes.
Yes, well, content depends on who's consuming it as well. So there are multi-platform apps that we create where you can have it on a mobile device or on a tablet or on a desktop as well, so they can interact depending on which situation you're in. So if you're still in the office, you can still use your desktop or laptop, but when you go mobile, you can still use your smartphone to access different apps.
What is the impact of applications as the ones that, for example, Andre creates, Ronald, on broadband use?
Well, the mechanisms that the developer utilizes to create the application has got a direct correlation to the utilization of broadband bandwidth. So if the application is very bad in utilizing broadband, and the user has actually purchased or is using this application on his broadband connection, and he doesn't know that it's using large amounts of broadband, at the end of the month he gets the bill for his broadband usage and it's disproportionately high, and then he's going to complain, oh, why have I utilized such a large amount of broadband? And so the application developers need to have applications that deliver the content efficiently, but also not disproportionately utilize large amount of broadband unnecessarily. Because yes, if you go through the experience of having a broadband bill that is extremely large and thousands of rands, you're going to be a bit reluctant to utilize more and more applications.
So the software users, as well as of course those who create the hardware, need to work together. Tell me a little bit about, for example, things like BBM, WhatsApp. It used to be Mixit. I'm not certain if Mixit is still in the mix of all these things. But was something like BBM, which was an imperative in a household where, for example, everybody had a BlackBerry from the lowest range to the highest. They're wonderful applications, aren't they?
Yes, they are. BBM did it quite big when they launched, and it was going to be quite a huge success if to roll it out on Android and iPhones, because there was a high. People really wanted to use BBM because you'd have a large number of people on BBM because of their Blackberries, and they want to communicate with everybody else, but then you can't, so you have to find an alternative app like WhatsApp, WeChat, or Viber, so you can actually have a cross-platform app that interacts with everyone. So with the pausing of the rollout of the BBM, I think people were very upset about that. So
well, one hopes that there's hope out there for everyone. WhatsApp again just has taken the world by storm. I mean, can I ask how do people make money on WhatsApp? I mean, who does it belong to? How does benefit from it if you built it and you have it?
Well, you have money in numbers. So you have quite a number of people on, you got a huge user base. So you can monetize that by either doing subscriptions where you have, for iOS users, for example, the guys on iPhones and the iPads, you actually have to purchase it for $1 to use the WhatsApp on your device. But for BlackBerry, it's free. You can just download and install that. So people make money off those subscriptions. Sorry, the app developer makes money off that subscription. Or possibly in the back, they're probably selling your data to someone else. We would never know.
That's always been quite disconcerting, isn't it? With the influx of technology and personal technology and social networking came the issue of, is my information safe, Ronald? Is anything I'm doing, is this book I'm purchasing online or this dress I'm purchasing online, is it safe to do so? How do I safeguard myself, or am I safeguarded?
Well, you always need to be take personal responsibility around your own security. Okay, just because you're working online doesn't mean it's any different than physical security that you have at home or any other place. The other thing around security as well is that security is there's multiple places where a person can breach your security and get your personal information. It can be on the application, it can be at the service provider, it can be at a third party, and when that particular thing happens, it's not necessary the particular individual, like the application developer that's at fault, or the service provider. So it's usually the communication between the two that's problematic. A very good example is the banking applications and the SIM swaps that are currently occurring, where people get fraudulent transactions get taken against them. It's not necessarily the bank's fault, it's not necessarily the service provider's fault, and they always try and blame each other. The only way they're going to resolve it is if they get together and they mutually agree on something that they can do to make the application and the experience more secure. But those problems are not unsurmountable, and people will apply their minds to it, and they'll learn from their mistakes and they'll make them more secure. So there might be additional problems in the first few months, first few years, where people pick up these security flaws and